Hello and welcome back everyone to Bloodstained Hard Mode Fresh on Rocket Rabbit Commentaries, and in this episode, after having successfully killed Bloodless, we can make our way down to the Forbidden Underground Waterway. But we have a little bit more exploration to do up here before we actually move down there.
Funny how the game will first immerse you in a bath of blood and then immerse you in forbidden waters.
I mean, we've technically had access to the Forbidden Underground Waterway before this, but now that we have Bloodsteel specifically, we can go the correct way into that area.
Wait, you have to bloodsteel your way in?
Yes, you have to bloodsteel your way in.
Huh.
I was under the impression for the longest time that you did not need to bloodsteel your way in, but no. That is mostly because the randomizer specifically usually makes it so that you do not have to bloodsteel your way in. But under the normal campaign, yes, you have to bloodsteel your way in. Hey, Tomoko Death.
I'm sorry, what century is this again?
We are 18th? Yeah, we're 18th century.
Because the electric amplifier was not invented until the 1930s.
Oh, but they have demon tech. I mean, come on, we just fought a demon train.
Yeah, they had trains. They were steam
But they
powered.
didn't have demon trains back in the 1800s.
You're right. We didn't have demon trains back in the 1800s. We had to settle for the more angelic ones. The ones that went toot toot toot.
Now, Tomoko Death is a bit important, not only because she drops a silver tiara, which is important for crafting, but also because she drops strawberries, which are important for the drink recipe that we still don't actually have. We need to go get that goddamn drink recipe book, because I really like having Inferno Breath, but man, is it expensive! To upkeep. Also, Chaser Arrow.
Yay.
I will never use this fucking shard. I think the Chaser Arrow is an interesting concept in much slower games, but in here, no, man, it's too expensive. It doesn't do enough, and small graphical glitch with the candles here.
Oh, finally, we got some walnuts. Because my omega fatty acids were getting a little deficient.
My dragon's better than your dragon. It breathes fire better than yours does. And there's the drink recipe book, finally.
Yay.
All right. So, in order to get our next silver knight shard, we need to take this bookcase.
We should take this bookcase and push it
over here. Now we have to just get into the room. That the area that the staircase was blocking. There we go. Booyah! I believe this is our either third or fourth silver knight shard. Probably third.
Yay.
Dragon. Dragon actually has a relatively important conjure shard called Draconic Rage. It is one that we'll actually see in combat later, despite the fact that I'm never going to use it. It's relatively high power. It does both fire and melee damage, and it's got a relatively long casting time. These are reasons why I don't end up using it, for the record.
Casting time, yeah.
Yeah, it is honestly relatively good if you can find spots in it for your rotation. I can't though, so.
The Diabolist's cap. Sounds diabolical.
It's a little diabolical, not so much though.
We wouldn't want to get too diabolical. That's what Bloodless campaign is for.
Yay! Our Dull Hammerhead got us a resist Thunder Shard. So you ready for a mini boss that's stationed as a boss, even though it very clearly is or becomes a normal enemy later? A thing that Egavanians are very famous for doing.
I can't wait.
You remember this guy, don't you, Mr. Cloud?
I mean, I hope I do. This is the third time we've played through this whole game.
Behold the Abyssal Guardian!
Yeah, I remember this guy. Oh yes, very nice.
Ah! He
Ah,
went
that
forward.
wasn't so
Where am I?
Much
Ouch!
damage. Damn it. Oh shit. Stupid wagging tail.
Ow! So yeah, Abyssal
da.
Guardian is Abyssal Guardian's big thing is that he is exactly fucking huge, and being exactly fucking huge means that if he decides to go forward like this, Miriam doesn't really have good answers for when he decides to do that.
Man.
Thankfully, my dragon is better than his dragon, so haha.
Yeah, that guy just goes down really quickly.
Thanks to Inferno Breath. Like,
Right.
if I was actually just doing a full melee only run, the game would be significantly harder. But
Right,
thankfully,
well-
thankfully it's hard mode. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna use what Jesus I have, specifically because I enjoy actually using the casting options that Miriam gets access to. I really like having Inferno Breath. I think
Oh, Thunder Elemental.
yes, we got spiked by the Thunder Elemental. I personally think that Miriam is actually the best caster that we have ever had. There is arguments to be made for Shinoa being a better caster, but although Shinoa is more powerful in raw gameplay terms, she doesn't get anywhere near the wide variety of spells that Miriam gets access to, nor does she really show off any real expertise or mastery with them.
Oh no.
Also, jump scare.
My boss wants to meet me in the Hall of Termination.
Now, this is another room that has been slightly changed with the inclusion of the Gamagan on this base level. The Gamagan there is not there in normal mode, and it makes that fight against the Axe Outsiders slightly a bit more risky.
MP max up.
Yay!
Yay.
Mind you, MP max ups are just not honestly all that important. If they were MP5s, like that's the big thing that I keep harping on, is the fact that your maximum MP isn't really a determining factor with how effective Miriam is. MP5 is just significantly more important to figure out how to increase. And once you have the drink recipe book that we finally found in this part, then you can actually get a significant amount of MP5, at which point you are effectively the literal best spellcaster in the series.
See, it strikes me these little fairies should be hurling insults at you with a high-pitched squeaky voice.
I mean, I suppose that would be interesting for their characters, but like... they are talking at us. I mean, they get personally insulted whenever we actually hit them. But
Right. How dare you! I'm a pretty pink princess.
blue princess.
Reminds me of the gargoyle statues from Fable 2. Those guys will hurl insults at you because they're laughing at your inability to find them right away because they're hidden in the map.
Do you need a stoner spell in order to actually revivify them?
No, they don't get revived when destroyed. That's how you collect destroyed gargoyle statues in order to... Oh, I can't remember what it was. It's something optional entirely, honestly.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, a majority of the things in Fable 2 are optional.
yeah, like playing it.
There we go. No, but sometimes the increased enemy density in the game is a real annoyance, and other times it's mostly pointless. Like that room is only normally has one Bloodbringer in it, but the addition of the two additional Bloodbringers don't actually bring any additional challenge to the room. It just triples the amount of time that you spend there.
No, something I notice now is because of the increased enemy density, depending on your proclivity for actually fighting the enemies you come across, although it would behoove you to ignore them a lot of times, it also means you're getting experience a little more quickly, except that you can just reset the room over and over again like we were expounding on a couple parts ago.
Yeah. The increased experience yield is actually noticeable. I normally take on Zhang in normal mode when I'm about level 10 or so, whereas in hard I find it difficult to get there before level 12.
Right, because you're leveling up more quickly as a product of just going through the map.
And you know, I do the grinding on Minerva, so
yeah, and also a little grinding included. I suppose it would be out of the question to do a hard mode run with no grinding whatsoever.
It's out of the question for me, but it's not impossible. If you're actually decent enough with the overall combat mechanics of Bloodstained, it is most certainly possible to beat hard mode without grinding. It is in fact entirely possible to beat nightmare mode without grinding. I am never going to do that, but I know people that have done it. I have spoken with Yami multiple times about how awesome he is at the game, and I refuse to get that good. No, fuck that. That is way too much both time investment and physical stress to put myself through. I will never figure out how the fuck to do infinite bunny morphosis juggling.
Bunny morphosis.
You would laugh, but bunny morphosis is honestly one of the better manipulative shards in the game. The amount of raw power that Miriam gets while transformed into that sexy bunny is fucking absurd.
Sexy bunny.
Well, it's supposed to be a Playboy bunny, but you know, we're not actually allowed to use that terminology.
Like, do millennials even know about the Playboy bunny?
I'm relatively certain that they do, mostly because I partially qualify as millennial.
Well, I mean, I do too, but then again, when you and I were growing up, like, Playboy magazine was still a thing. It was only discontinued in the last, like, 15 years.
So the actual question is, does Generation Z actually know what Playboy bunnies are?
Man, there's a lot of shit that Generation Z is missing out on. Like Goodfellas.
And Unreal Tournament. For those of you wondering what the fuck that's all about, there is a YouTuber by the name of like Clive46 or something like that, who does a bunch of relatively classic PC game reviews, and he put out a very excellent, not quite long play, but walkthrough slash experience retrospective of Unreal 1 and Unreal Return to Nepali. It is a glorious fucking hour of him just nostalgically going through one of my favorite games of all time. And the whole reason he did that is because Epic Games no longer has the Unreal IP. They are getting rid of it. I don't understand why, but they are. Unreal Tournament 3, which is the unofficial name for the current Unreal Tournament fan project, is going open source, and all the other Unreal games, including Unreal 1, Unreal 2, Unreal Return to Nepali, and Unreal Tournament 2004 are officially unlisted. You can't purchase them anymore. They're literally just fucking gone.
Well, you can make the case that IP trades like that have helped developers create some of the most... It's
not a trade. They're just getting rid of the IP. They're not gaining anything for it.
Well, they're getting an absence in their IP inventory.
A significant one, too. If you recall, one of the biggest game development engines of the past several decades has been the Unreal Engine. And that engine built Unreal 1.
Yes. It's quite unreal when you really think about it.
Ha 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 ha
ha. Well, I was gonna say that it was.
We're nearing the end of our first major dive into Hall of Termination. Right. We've got the couple of rooms to our left and right that we want to get through, as well as show off the 8-Bit Nightmare area, the 8-Bit Nightmare entrance area, but we're not actually going to be doing 8-Bit Nightmare in this playthrough, mostly because it's effectively a post-game area on hard mode, and I don't want to go through 8-Bit Nightmare boss again.
Not on hard mode, no.
Yeah, I was definitely considering going through all of the bosses on hard mode. I really, really was. I couldn't get myself to go. I couldn't get myself to do it. I had 8-Bit Nightmare routed out, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna get anything for it. I'm not gonna use anything that I get in it. No, just fuck off. Like, the only big thing that I'm missing out from 8-Bit Nightmare is the fact that the best directional spell in the game is technically there, and that's 8-Bit Fireball. 8-Bit Fireball is specifically the best directional spell in the game because it's really cheap. It forms at maximum level, it forms 5 semi-permanent shotgun pellets that do absurd amounts of fire damage, and you can rapid fire the damn thing. As such, it absolutely shreds both Bale and Dominique. Slash!
Floats like a butterfly, looks like a bee.
Swings like a gram sword.
Oh, I see. A firepower upgrade.
It's not a firepower upgrade, to be perfectly honest. It's a capacity upgrade.
Oh, capacity, right. Of course, because twin guns outside their holsters is definitely indicative of capacity. All right, we'll go get the upgrade. And beautiful. As if we needed any more clues that there was a way down here. That staircase is kind of like the staircase from the money pit. It's got a tricky step that will cause the whole thing to collapse if you step on it, Walter.
Well, it's actually more or less a reference to Castlevania. Oh, come on, it's not 3, but it's a very famous reference to the in most of the Castlevania games, specifically not Castlevania 3, but both Castlevania 1 and a majority of the other 2D Castlevanias, there is usually a secret room tied to Dracula's staircase. And that is supposed, this is Hall of Termination, that is supposed, we are effectively in, Dracula's primary residence. I mean, Dracula in this case is played by Jeeble, but, Anyway, in the next episode, now that we have done our primary dive into Hall of Termination, now we will go into the Forbidden Underground Waterway.
Yay.
Be safe, everybody.
Remember, get your swimming lessons in.